This man is the reason why so many people thought they had a career years ago. I'll tell you why. सारे दरवाजे जब बंद हो जाते थे, I don't know if he looks a very unassuming character, but one of the most successful genres in our country is there because of Mr. Vikram Bhatt. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
So sweet, thank you.
But it is the truth, you know, when you go abroad, and I've always said this, when you try and see the landmark names as a child that you were watching. You'll be watching Nightmare on Elm Street and, you know, all these ghost films and all. Because it was either that or the soppy, you know, romantic dramas that you're watching. In India, if you look at horror, in the last 10, 15 years, it's only him. And I've always said this, and I saw 1920, I was blown away. The Raz film has also blown away. Then the 3D versions that you took out.
Oh,
the money, yeah. And it was unbelievable. So, congratulations once again, sir. I'm so glad to see you back in this.
Thank you.
And he's launching one lady who, if she walks like this, there's like a red carpet in front of her. Then they'll throw a pool on her. And I've also known Sanaya for a very long time. Perhaps the most reluctant superstar in Indian television. When you tell her now also, you're a superstar, yeah, but what's to eat? You know, we're in the next zone. I'm so happy to see you on the big screen. The world is going to go crazy. You haven't changed at all.
Oh, God.
You look the same also in 15 years.
Yeah, I know.
How is it possible?
I don't know, and I thought Botox would be the reason, but it's not.
Actually, one of the only natural ones left.
Yeah.
Shivam, you're joining them. One who's carrying the baggage of I am Sanaya Irani.
Oh God, please stop saying that.
And one who we all say, he is Vikram Bhatt. So you say, but listen, I'm Shivam. What's
That's
up?
exactly what I say. Listen, I'm Shivam.
And
But listen,
I have abs.
Oh yeah, you've made quite an impression as well. Also to get selected by him
Thank you.
is a big deal. Because he's not just a director, he's a writer, voiceover artist, director, actor, sab kuch hai. I'm going to ask you, you come into this fray with any nerves at all? Scared nerves. I'm not talking about butterflies and stuff.
No, actually, it was fine.
Yeah?
If I think about it, I was fine, but I was also super thrilled.
Yeah.
Like, just to be in their
My
company.
God, sorry, you sound like Farhan.
Thank you.
Yes.
If I look the other way, he sounds like
I
Farhan.
do,
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
So
is not the Sky is Pink promotion.
No.
Yeah.
Film's already out by then.
See, the sky is very dark.
Yeah.
So, you're a happy-go-lucky boy like you wanted to do a horror film.
I love horror movies.
Yeah?
Don't go by the face
Acha,
at all.
okay.
I'm very dark inside.
You've got the tattoo out there, man.
Oh, yeah.
There's a story
See,
to that.
yeah, there is. Please don't ask me the story.
We'll come to that later.
Yeah.
But just generally, did you know, so Sanaya has done the most cliched, sweet television roles. Even here, this is a very different avatar for her as well.
Very different, yeah.
And so much of the trailer was just her with her looks, you know. So when you came in there, you're going like, this is a nice setup. And
Yeah.
horror generally has a feeling that it just needs to work on content.
Right.
You don't need a name to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's generally been the thought process, though he's sort of changed that also over the years.
Yeah.
But was that also a fit of you saying yes to this?
Honestly, it was the story. The story itself is so great. It has so much to say. It's based on a real life event.
Yes.
And and then working with Mr. Bhatt and then Sanaya. I was like, yeah, are you really asking me? Let's do this. So that's how it was.
What is it that makes horror tick for you? I mean, how do you... People can't crack it. They've tried and they've failed. And every new director, I myself have been part of a horror film that failed because we ran short of money in the middle, I guess. But yeah, because they said, bro, we're going to make it. So my face was brilliant first time. But when I meet directors, they believe that it's the easiest one to crack. And it's not. It's really difficult to get it right. I met editors who said, directors put too much sound. Some make it too silent. You and Ramgopal Verma are actually the only two directors that have cracked it till now. How?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to crack because, see, firstly, you have to believe in the supernatural. You have to believe it exists. You cannot tell a story about something you cannot believe. It's like, it's like being Saint Peter. You can't go and spread the word if you don't believe in the word. I believe that there is a spirit. I believe in the dimensions. I believe in life after death. And I translate my beliefs into film. So I think, that's the most important thing, is to believe. And when you believe, your measure of okaying everything within your script or within your technicality, like you said, sound or the edit, becomes different because then you're looking at it from belief. It's like, suppose if I were to I'm a big Krishna Bhakt. If I were to make something on Krishna, I would know what is right and what is wrong. Because I would say, no, this is not Krishna. This is Krishna. But if I have no belief,
Correct.
then I have no opinion. Then big sound is also great, then no sound is also great. But if you believe in horror and you believe that there is something out there, good and evil, then it works on a very different level.
But that would also be easier when you're writing it. When you're making it, a lot of other considerations come into it. You know, because horror is also the most targeted medium by fans. They're always cynical.
Yeah.
Even in your trailer, Ghost trailer ke title par hai. How original. You know, they'll start off with this. And they all come in there, they want to get scared. Kiki kiki kaka sabse zyada hota hai. And when they get scared, they'll say, oh bro, this was scary. But otherwise, isme kya scary tha? So the yes and no is highest. 50% success rate hota hai isme.
See, that's why I'll tell you why. Because when you tell someone that I'm going to scare you, half the time you're going to meet somebody who's going to be defiant
Yeah.
and say, yeah, let's see. Okay. If I say I'm going to make you laugh, he'll be like, okay, I want to laugh. But you're not going to be scared enthusiastically at, oh, God, scare me, baby. So it's not going to be like
So
that.
that's why it must be nerve-wracking for a director.
See, I believe that there is a certain amount of hypocrisy. And it exists within us. Like, for instance, and I think it's more in the cities. And even in the cities in A++ centers. It's like, you know, when I make a film and I show a Pandit reading the Hanuman Chalisa or the Vishnu Sahasranam, people laugh. Kya hai yaar, Vishnu Sahasranam, wahi Pandit ko le gaya yaar, wapas. But if I show a priest with a cross and saying, the power of Christ commands you, mast picture hai yaar. Priest mast hai. Apna Pandit mast nahi hai, kyunki wo apna hai. You know, you'll go and see a Conjuring, you'll see Emily Rose.
Yeah.
What is Emily Rose? यार वो वहाँ का पंडित है वो.
Correct.
है ना, वो exorcism कर रहा
और वो भी real story थी, ये भी real story
है. Real story. So, पंडित ठीक नहीं है. So somewhere we still like borrowed stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we still don't understand the meaning of Make in India. But they just say this. They watch it.
Yeah, that is it.
So it is like, you know, it's like these new web series which are so sexual in nature.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, God, who watches this? Who watches this? But I'm like, 200 million views, dude. Who's watching this? Someone's watching this.
More than once.
More than once. So, you know, it's like that.
So, the quintessential Barbie doll.
Oh God, will you stop it?
Yeah, it is. And you're doing a horror film?
Yes.
I'm glad you're not doing the other thing that we're discussing right now.
Yeah.
The 200 million views, but I don't think you'll ever do that.
I'm very glad that I'm not doing it.
But
And
even-
I think Vikram is even more glad that I'm not doing it.
But even, was it, how does one convince Sanaya? Because I don't think that do you think too much about something? With this you have to, because now there's a screen.
So, you're talking about when the film was
Yes, of
offered
course.
to me, right?
And even when the discussion was happening.
Ask Vikram.
No, I want to see your bit.
okay,
Because
so-
when you're getting a WhatsApp from the office and then you're going to...
No, I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. I was doing a web series with Vikram where he was acting in it. And a friend of mine was directing it.
Yeah.
And I think the friend was initially supposed to direct this film
Yeah,
and
yeah.
baat chal rahi thi. And I was never interested in films. You know that.
Yeah.
Like I had no interest whatsoever.
Like I say, you're the reluctant superstar.
Yeah. So once Vikram, even remember on the set of Zindabad, you passed a comment. Isko kuch offer mat karo film. She doesn't want to do films. So yeah. So it was that zone, and then obviously he was like, hear it out, everything. Went to the office, and
And his narrations are brilliant.
Yeah. And you know, more than that, I'll tell you, even more than the narration, I was very skeptical. I was like, I don't know Vikram. And he's like, do it, Sanaya, do it. He's like, I see you doing this role. And, you know, then he told me the entire story. And I've said this repeatedly in interviews, that he really believed I could do it. And, you know, you don't get a lot of people who believe in you.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
don't,
Yeah,
you know. And I have this director who's worked for so many years in this industry. Vikram's an extremely intelligent man.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and he's believing that I can pull off this film and I can carry it on my shoulders and do all of that. And I'm like, for a second, I was like, why am I acting stupid about it? You know, like, I really should. Like, I'm not going to get this. Like, he's...
Yeah, I wouldn't know anybody that would offer you horror. I mean, you'd get Yashraj also.
But you know, it's
yeah.
more than the horror. It's this character. Like when
Yeah.
you see the film,
Yeah.
Simran Singh.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about the horror. It's about. I really hope that when people come out of the theater, they have at some point connected with Simran through the film. Like I need them to connect with this character, to feel for her, and then go through the entire process. And she is so complex. She has like demons of her own, and that was the challenging part. It was not really the horror which was challenging.
Because that
for
you
me.
don't see while it's happening anyway.
Right.
Yeah, as an
right.
actor on a horror film, it's like green screen here and something is coming here, something is going there. It's a different zone.
And you have like one sticker somewhere, one danda somewhere. But Vikram was very helpful. He made these amazing sounds for me, and yeah.
On the mic, the narration.
Amazing. So he
So
was
now
my
narrate
scene.
one thing, to narrate an incident where, say because one of the great comments on the YouTube section is, the hand seems to be very big a character in this movie. So there's one, supposing there's a scene happening and Vikram's narrating on the mic as a director.
So he's like, so first he gets everyone to keep complete silence on
Yeah.
set. I'm a fattu by nature. He kind of figured it out like initially. So he's like, it's going to be easy with this girl. She doesn't need to read the scene. And he's like, just listen to me, Sanaya. Complete silence on the set. The sun sets at like 3 o'clock over there. So it's always like dark. Lighting bhi kami hai film mein, you know,
Yeah.
horror film, all of that. And he's like, and now you're walking, and stop. It's coming. Said, scene done. Good shot.
Well done, Sanaya. That was a brilliant. Was that perfect?
More than perfect. More than perfect.
Did you have to scare him like that?
Yeah.
He was, sorry, I have to cut you. He was hilarious. Okay, so he comes to me because he's not, I guess, fattu in real life or whatever. He's like, how are you doing these scenes? Like, when you're getting scared, how are you reacting? And I'm like, I'm a fattu. Vikram is doing it. He's saying it. I'm like, ah. And he's like, okay. And he's thinking, but I'm not scared. Like, I mean, what am I going to do? How am I going to do
Yeah,
this?
he wants the Alfred Hitchcock way, yeah. Slightly different, yeah. You got to have. But now that you've seen have you seen the finished product?
I have.
Are you looking scared? Are you
I
looking
hope
believable?
so. Yeah, I am.
Because in the trailer you are, but I mean,
No, but again, it all goes to him. The credit goes to him because he guided me on how to do it.
you can sleepwalk through these films now, can't you?
No.
Yeah?
They're damn tough.
What rubbish?
They are damn tough. Because I'll tell you something. See, horror films are reverse engineering. So you need to see the whole film in your mind, complete with the lighting, sound effects, trolley movements. And then you have to break it down into various departments. So unlike an emotional film or a comedy film, where, you pretty much the actors are saying it and you laugh because it's funny. In a horror film, it's just the camera is moving slowly in dull light and you are imagining the music in your head and the sound effects and it's not there.
Yeah.
So on the set, it looks like, ये क्या कर रहा है director यार? ये लोग धीरे धीरे चल रहे हैं कॉरिडोर में और ये चले जा रहा है कौन है बोल रही है ये. So in a horror film, generally you will see the light man sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay, out of all the genres, it is the most sleepy set. But then it starts coming together in post. So it's very tough because what you have in your mind
It's
is
better translate actually.
and it's not on the set.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you have the elements to bring it together later. And so
So no matter how many times you've done it, it's still brand new.
yeah, so it's like saying I'm going to just take the beach and then I'm going to go home and take myself at home and then I'm going to put it on the beach. And you're like, okay, but then your hair needs to fly and then the lighting needs to match. And then how are you going to do all that? So it requires a lot of thought.
And I will tell you what Vikram looked like on set.
Wait, we'll come to that in a bit. We'll come right back. And like we say, it's a real life story. I want to ask him, so one of the most exciting things about, say, like a Conjuring for me was, in the middle of the film, of course I was going on Wikipedia. And that's how a lot of the films these days, it added to that little, that mystique around it. Because they wanted to know, okay, this person's that, this person this. And so a lot of the biopics also have become successful in the Indian cinema today is because they go, acha, ye kaun tha? Like in Sanju, I remember, Kamli kaun hai isme? Then they said, ki charo ka ek hai yaar. So then people were disappointed. So we talk about that, and whenever real life you add to that, I think this adds to the fear and the exciting element to it. We'll come right back. All right, you're back on Star with me, Salil. We've got a star-studded lineup. Lady in the middle, Nonchalantly sitting on another film for me, first film, big deal. We'll have the legion of fans out there, Sanaya.
Oh my God, no!
Of course it will
It
be.
is a big deal. I'm so nervous. It is a very big deal for me, and I'm very grateful.
Are you nervous? Shivam looks less nervous than you do. But yeah, a job well done there, and the master of it all, who's almost sort of made like a PhD on this. And by the way, might I add, there's almost like a PhD been written about his film 1920 Evil Returns. It was the most amazing thing that we saw on Wikipedia. They've sort of written about your film, the process of it. It's there. It's being studied all over.
Yeah, so there have been a lot of, there's also a class in Canada on the films I've made.
So what is it a horror class? Because you haven't only done horror. Is it the other films as well? Or?
No, so it's basically about, see, I have a very different art form in horror, which is, I think, the traditional Indian art form of using music and romance and love in horror films.
Yeah.
So everybody keeps asking me that, why can't you make a film like Conjuring or Annabelle? There are two answers to that. One, because they're already making it. Second, is because Indian films are a music-led art form, and that comes from our age-old Nautanki style of drama. Whilst Shakespeare was doing Globe Theatre, in our country, we always, even Ram Leela has a lot of songs in it.
Yeah.
We have been a country of song and prose. So I use that in my films. And I think I'm perhaps the only one in the world who's doing that. Because
And you use romance.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's slasher, gore, sex.
See, what I feel is that if I am not going to feel for the character, everybody needs to survive in a film. So you have a slasher and you want to live, that's great. What makes me want to see Sanaya and Shivam and their tryst with whatever is going on, unless I feel for them, what is at stake? You just can't have life at stake. So life at stake, so what's the big deal?
Yeah.
So maybe the A++ of our country wants to see films of those sort. But I have seen, I've traveled over the country and I've been promoting this film. And outside of Mumbai and Delhi, there is a whole other India.
Yeah. Which has been very well documented in the last 2 years at the box office, with those kind of films doing very well.
Absolutely. So that India is finally finding a representation.
Yes.
And they are saying, yes, we love the music. And Indians don't understand. I mean, some do, some don't. But to the ones that don't understand, our only music is film music.
Yeah.
It is still film music that gives us maximum music.
Yeah.
We don't have the Madonnas and
whenever people say, why can't we do it? Well, we haven't done it for like 7,000 years. And I don't see it happening very soon. We might have come close to it, but even those are the film singers that are also reinventing another side to them. You can't just have a purely, it just will not work in India because film stars are too big.
I feel it's like going into a Mughlai restaurant and say, why don't you give Italian? But it's a Mughlai restaurant. If you want Italian, go eat Italian.
I think India will always find its space in a very different world as compared to how the rest of the world functions, which is why I think we do very well also on our own. But, when you look at a film that has these real life bits to it and all, that gets exciting. Did that also attract you to the story?
Yes, it was a major part of why I wanted to, because I'm when I see films where it says, I'm that, go on Wikipedia. So it's, oh God, did you know? So yes, I am one of those people, but this is, the whole story is not exactly that story.
It's taken from it, inspired.
It's taken. And that was so interesting. Like when Vikram told me that, this actually did happen and this was the incident, I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, really? Like somebody went in court and was arguing about like...
And
the devil
documented
maybe.
evidence.
Right. So I was like, that's really interesting. And of course, then Vikram made this beautiful story around it with this character, the love story, all of that. So, yeah.
It works. I think, even for you, I think it's a very exciting time to now enter into cinema.
Yeah,
it's not only do you have the big screen, but then it's going to be out online, and there's a totally different world that exists out there.
Yeah,
I think it's the most exciting time to be in this industry for technicians, for actors. is that also why you're super excited? Because now you'll have something out there to show the world.
Definitely, that's exactly what one's been waiting for actually.
Yeah.
Also, the story really excited me because, like she said, her character is so nuanced, it's so layered. Whatever's happening in the film, you relate to it. It could happen to you. It could happen to anybody. It's not just a horror movie it just has jump scares and it doesn't have.
Yeah.
a
So if
story.
I had to know what kind of horror you like,
Yeah.
give me an example. Let me try and figure out.
What kind of horror? I
Yeah.
like? Everything.
So like World War Z also something I love.
Yeah, it was
That was
great.
crazy.
It
I
was
like
great.
the zombie flicks also.
Yeah.
There's like the Will Smith.
Also, like.
You know why I like World War Z?
Yeah.
Because
There was a story. Yeah, there was
no,
great
but
shot.
the zombies were moving fast.
Yeah.
Because when the zombies move slowly,
Yeah, it's
How will it
I'm like,
catch
ये
you?
तो बहुत slow चल रहा है यार.
I'm reminded of Thriller and Michael Jackson.
There are some zombie films like you're like, kill already.
Yeah, that was really, really high. So, which one would be you?
So, something like The Sixth Sense
Ah.
or Exorcist, again, different.
And
but
if you had to look in Indian cinema, like I was
I
blown away.
loved Raz. I really enjoyed Raz.
yeah.
But also Be Salbad. What a film. Very old film.
Yeah, of course, but yeah.
But yeah, at that age, I was like.
I used to get scared watching Kile Ka Rahasya on TV.
Which what?
Kile Ka Rahasya, the
it's-
serial.
But you know why? There is truth in that you feel. कि यार
Kile mein hoga.
किले में तो ये सब हुआ होगा. That's from where I got inspired for 1920 actually.
You've got nothing to lose at all because this is all in the positive space, bro. And like I said, this is the best time to be an actor right now.
I agree, yeah.
I think congratulations already on half the battle won.
Thank you so much.
You only got to carry forward, huh? You better make sure that you at least give him a nice, good opening.
Oh God!
Yeah, Sanaya, it's all on you.
It's
Vikram,
all
what
on
is
you.
this stress? I'm not
Till the
feeling
next
this
time.
stress.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Of course.
I
Only
am
two
not
things
feeling
can
this
give
stress.
opening: music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Music and promotion.
Yeah.
And the star cast.
Yeah.
Please.
Director को कौन देखने आता है?
You better
Please,
start
हमारी
using.
film देखना.
You better get on Instagram more now on a daily basis.
Okay, I want to say a lot of my viewers and fans are not from India.
She's already making excuses. She's making excuses.
I'm just saying a lot. You know how many people have asked me, are you releasing overseas? Are you releasing overseas?
Now that is a different conversation with Vikram sir.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
This is like that Birbal and the Crow story. कि अगर लोग आए तो मेरे फैंस थे, अगर नहीं आए तो abroad है.
Till the next time, take care. Fingers crossed on everyone, but no careers on the line here. I think it's just fantastic to actually see, this phase where good content will work, and it's already worked halfway through with the trailer. But a lot depends on who comes in on a Friday. But it's horror. Most of the time, the battle is always won at the theatre. Bye bye.